Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Podcasts with Ali and Aiza. I'm Ali, and as always, I'm here with my wonderful co-host.
Hey there, everyone. I'm Aiza, and we are so excited to have you joining us today. You know, Ali and I were just having the funniest conversation before we started recording. We went shopping together last weekend, and let me tell you, it was quite an adventure.
Oh, it really was. And actually, that experience gave us the perfect idea for today's episode. We're going to talk about shopping, but more importantly, we're going to teach you some incredibly useful English expressions that native speakers use all the time in everyday conversations. These are phrases you'll hear in stores, at restaurants, with friends, at work, basically everywhere. And the best part? They're not complicated at all. They're natural, they're common, and once you start using them, you'll sound so much more fluent and confident.
Exactly. So if you're someone who's learning English and you want to sound more natural when you speak, this episode is definitely for you. We're going to share our shopping story, but we'll pause along the way to explain these expressions, give you examples, and help you understand exactly when and how to use them. Think of this as hanging out with two friends who happen to be teaching you English at the same time.
Perfect description. And hey, listeners, we want you to feel comfortable. Don't just listen passively. When we give examples, try repeating them out loud. Seriously, even if you're on the bus, in your car, or walking down the street with your headphones on, practice saying these phrases. That's how you'll really internalize them and make them part of your natural speaking style. Sound good?
All right, let's dive right in. So, Allie and I decided to go shopping last Saturday because we both needed some new clothes. I was looking for a dress for an upcoming event, and Allie needed a jacket for the cooler weather that's coming. We started at this boutique downtown that someone had recommended to us. The moment we walked in, I looked at the price tag on the first item I saw, a simple white blouse, and my jaw just dropped. It was something like $75 for a basic shirt.
And I immediately said, wow, this place is ridiculously overpriced. And you know what Aiza said back to me? She didn't just say, yes, or I agree. She used this perfect expression that I want to teach you right now. She said, you can say that again. Now, this is one of those phrases that really makes you sound like a native speaker. When someone says something and you completely 100% agree with them, like you couldn't agree more, you can respond with, you can say that again. It's emphatic. It shows strong agreement. It's way more colorful and interesting than just saying yes or I agree.
Right. So think about it this way. If someone says, that test was so difficult, and you also found it extremely hard, you could respond, you can say that again. I studied for hours and still struggled with it. Or imagine you're watching a movie with someone, and it's really boring. Your friend says, this movie is terrible. And you could reply, you can say that again. I've been checking my phone for the past 20 minutes. See how it adds energy to your agreement? It's conversational, it's natural, and it shows that you're really connecting with what the other person is saying.
Let me give you a few more examples so you can really get a feel for it. Picture this. You and your colleague are talking about your boss who's always late to meetings. Your colleague says, he never respects our time. And you could say, you can say that again. Yesterday's meeting was supposed to start at 9, and he showed up at 9:30. Or let's say you're talking about the weather with someone, and they comment, it's been so hot this summer. You might respond, you can say that again. I can barely sleep at night without the air conditioning on full blast. The phrase works in so many contexts, and it's all about showing strong agreement in a friendly, natural way.
I love how versatile this expression is. You can use it in casual situations with friends, but you can also use it in more professional settings, just maybe not with your boss directly, but definitely with colleagues. Now, back to our shopping story. After I said, you can say that again, about the store being expensive, Allie picked up a t-shirt from one of the racks. It was just a plain gray t-shirt, nothing special about it, no fancy design or anything. And the price tag said $50. $50. We both just looked at each other in disbelief.
I mean, $50 for a basic t-shirt? That seemed absolutely crazy to both of us. So I said to Aiza, this is way too much for such a simple piece of clothing. I could buy 3 or 4 t-shirts at another store for this price. And Aiza completely understood where I was coming from. We both felt the same way about it. We both thought the prices were unreasonable. We both like finding good value when we shop, and we both weren't willing to pay premium prices for basic items. This actually brings us to our second major expression of the day, one that's really important for English learners to know. See eye to eye.
Yes, this is such a useful phrase. When you see eye to eye with someone, it means you agree with them, you share the same opinion, you're on the same page. It's about having the same perspective or viewpoint on something. Now, here's the interesting thing. This expression is often used when talking about general compatibility or ongoing agreement, rather than just one specific moment. For example, Ali and I see eye to eye on shopping. We both like quality, but we also want reasonable prices. We don't like wasting money, and we both enjoy finding good deals.
Exactly. You might hear people say things like, my husband and I don't always see eye to eye when it comes to money. He likes to save everything, but I think we should enjoy life a little more. Or you could hear someone say, my business partner and I see eye to eye on most things, which is why our company works so well. It's really about compatibility of opinions and values. Here's another example. I tried discussing politics with my uncle, but we just don't see eye to eye on anything. That sentence tells you that they have very different political views.
And notice something interesting about that last example Ali gave. He used another expression we want to teach you, when it comes to. This is incredibly common in English. When you say when it comes to something, you're introducing a specific topic or subject area. It's like saying, regarding this particular thing or in terms of this specific area. So when Ali said, people might not see eye to eye when it comes to money, he was specifically talking about the subject of money, finances, spending, and saving.
Absolutely. Let me give you more examples of when it comes to, so you really understand how flexible this phrase is. You could say, when it comes to cooking, I'm completely hopeless. I can barely make toast without burning it. Or maybe, when it comes to sports, Sarah is incredibly talented. She excels at everything from basketball to swimming. Or here's one you might use in a work context. When it comes to meeting deadlines, our team has an excellent track record. We always deliver on time. See how it helps you transition into talking about a specific topic?
This expression is everywhere in natural English conversation. You'll hear it constantly. People might say, when it comes to music, I'm really open-minded. I listen to everything from classical to hip-hop. Or when it comes to learning languages, consistency is more important than intensity. Or even when it comes to choosing a career, you should follow your passion, not just the money. It's a sophisticated way to introduce what you're about to discuss, and it makes your English sound really polished and natural.
Absolutely. So now let's get back to our shopping adventure, because this is where it gets good. After we realized that first store was just too expensive for our budget, we decided to leave and try somewhere else. Aiza suggested we check out this other shop just a few blocks away that she'd heard had more reasonable prices. We walked over there, and honestly, the difference was like night and day.
Oh my goodness, yes. The second store was so much better. The prices were fair, not super cheap, but reasonable for the quality. The clothes looked nice, they had good variety, and the whole atmosphere of the store was more welcoming. I immediately started looking around, and within just a few minutes, I found this beautiful blue dress. It was exactly the style I like, elegant but comfortable, perfect for the event I needed it for. And the best part? When I checked the price tag, it was only $30. That's less than half of what that basic blouse cost at the first store.
I remember when you showed me that dress, I looked at it and immediately thought it was perfect for you. It matched your personal style completely. You have this classic, elegant taste in clothes, and that dress captured it perfectly. So when you asked me what I thought, I told you exactly that. I said it really suited you, and you seemed happy with it too. Meanwhile, I was looking through the men's section because, like I mentioned earlier, I needed a jacket for fall. The weather's starting to get cooler where we live, and I wanted something that would work for both casual and slightly more dressed up.
And this is something I want to point out to our listeners. When you're shopping in English-speaking countries or even just having conversations in English about shopping, it's useful to know how to talk about your personal style and preferences. You might say things like, this is more my style, or this doesn't really suit me, or I'm looking for something more casual. These phrases help you communicate what you want and what works for you. It's not just about knowing the words for clothing items, it's about being able to express your preferences clearly.
That's such a good point, Aiza. Communication while shopping isn't just transactional. It's not just, how much is this, and I'll take it. There's often conversation involved, especially if you're shopping with a friend or if a store employee is helping you. You need to be able to describe what you're looking for, explain why you like or don't like something, and discuss whether something fits your needs. For example, when I was looking at jackets, I was thinking about questions like, is it warm enough? Is it too formal? Does it go with the other clothes I own? Can I wear it in different situations?
Exactly. And you know what I loved about that shopping trip? Even though we were looking for different things, I needed a dress and you needed a jacket, we had the same approach to shopping. We both wanted quality items at reasonable prices. We both cared about style, but also practicality. We weren't looking for the cheapest possible options, but we also weren't willing to overpay for brand names or fancy stores. This is why I said to you, we really see eye to eye when it comes to shopping. We have compatible shopping philosophies.
That's right. And listeners, think about the people in your life. Who do you see eye to eye with when it comes to different topics? Maybe you and your best friend see eye to eye when it comes to movies. You both like the same genres, you have similar tastes. Or maybe you and your sibling don't see eye to eye when it comes to music. You like rock and they prefer pop. Or perhaps you and your spouse see eye to eye when it comes to raising children. You share the same values and parenting approaches. This expression can apply to any topic where people might have similar or different opinions.
Now, here's something interesting for our listeners to practice. I want you to think about your own life and create some sentences using these expressions we've taught you today. Try to make them personal and relevant to your own experiences. For example, you could think about your best friend and say, my best friend and I see eye to eye when it comes to food. We both love trying new restaurants and we're both adventurous eaters. Or you could think about something you strongly agree with and use, you can say that again in a hypothetical conversation.
That's excellent practice advice. Let me give our listeners a little assignment right now. Think about someone you disagree with about something. Maybe it's a family member, a friend, or a colleague. Now, construct a sentence like this: my relationship and I don't really see eye to eye when it comes to topic. For instance, I could say, my younger brother and I don't really see eye to eye when it comes to how to spend free time. He loves video games, but I prefer outdoor activities. See how natural that sounds? That's exactly how native speakers talk.
I love that. And here's another practice idea. Think about something you feel strongly about, maybe a pet peeve or something that really annoys you. Now, imagine someone else expressing that same annoyance and practice responding with, you can say that again. For example, if someone says, traffic in the city is absolutely terrible, you could respond, you can say that again. It took me an hour to get to work this morning, and it's normally a 20-minute drive. Practice these out loud, everyone. Don't just think them in your head, actually say them out loud. That's how you build confidence and fluency.
Absolutely right. The physical act of speaking these phrases out loud helps your brain remember them and makes them feel more natural in your mouth. It's like muscle memory for your speaking muscles. Okay, so let's wrap up our shopping story. After Aiza found her perfect dress and I found a nice jacket that was exactly what I needed, we both decided to try on our items. We went to the fitting rooms, tried everything on, and fortunately, everything fit perfectly. The dress looked even better on Aiza than it did on the hanger, and my jacket was comfortable and the right size.
And the best part? The total cost for both items was less than what that basic blouse cost at the first store. We walked out of there feeling so satisfied with our purchases. We found exactly what we needed, the quality was good, the prices were fair, and we had a fun time shopping together. It was a successful shopping trip all around. And you know what Ali said to me as we were leaving? He said, this is why I like shopping with you. We have the same taste and the same approach. We really do see eye to eye when it comes to this stuff.
And it's true. Shopping with someone who has a completely different approach can be frustrating. If one person wants to spend hours in every store and the other wants to get in and out quickly, or if one person wants luxury brands and the other prefers budget options, you might not see eye to eye, and that can create tension. But when you shop with someone who shares your values and preferences, it's actually enjoyable. It becomes less of a chore and more of a social activity.
This actually reminds me, we should talk about how these expressions can be used in different contexts beyond just shopping. They're so versatile. You can say that again can be used in virtually any situation where you strongly agree with someone. At work, if a colleague complains about a difficult client and you've had the same experience, you can say that again. If a friend mentions that a restaurant has terrible service and you agree, same phrase. If someone comments on how expensive gas prices are and you're also frustrated about it, you know what to say.
And see eye to eye is equally versatile. You can use it in professional contexts, like our team doesn't always see eye to eye on the best approach to marketing, but we respect each other's opinions. You can use it in family discussions, like my parents and I finally see eye to eye on my career choice. At first they were worried, but now they understand why this path is right for me. You can even use it in more serious discussions about values and beliefs, like while we may not see eye to eye politically, we can still be friends and have respectful conversations.
That's such an important point, Ellie. Just because you don't see eye to eye with someone about everything doesn't mean you can't have a good relationship with them. In fact, some of the best friendships and partnerships involve people who see eye to eye on core values, but might disagree on smaller details. The key is mutual respect and good communication. And speaking of communication, that's really what today's episode has been all about. Giving you the tools to communicate more naturally and effectively in English.
Exactly. These expressions aren't just words to memorize. They're tools for connection. When you use "you can say that again," you're creating a moment of shared understanding with someone. You're validating their opinion and showing that you're really listening and relating to what they're saying. When you talk about seeing eye to eye with someone, you're acknowledging compatibility and shared perspective. These phrases help build rapport and make conversations feel more genuine and engaging.
You know, I think this is what makes learning English so exciting. It's not just about grammar rules and vocabulary lists. It's about learning how to connect with people, how to express yourself clearly, and how to participate in conversations in a natural, confident way. Every time you learn a new expression like the ones we taught today, you're adding another color to your palette. You're giving yourself more options for expressing yourself in different situations.
Well said. And listeners, I hope you're feeling inspired and motivated right now. I hope you're thinking, I can't wait to use these expressions in my next English conversation. Because that's really the goal here. We want you to take what you learn from these podcasts and actually use it. Don't be afraid to try out new phrases. Don't worry about making mistakes. Native speakers make mistakes all the time, too. What matters is that you're practicing, you're improving, and you're building your confidence little by little.
Before we wrap up today's episode, let's do a quick review of what we've covered. We talked about going shopping, and through that story, we taught you 3 really important expressions. First, you can say that again. Use this when you strongly agree with something someone has said. It's emphatic, it's natural, and it shows that you're really connecting with their statement. Second, see eye to eye. Use this to talk about agreement, compatibility, and shared perspectives. You can see eye to eye with someone on specific topics or in general. And third, when it comes to. Use this to introduce a specific subject or topic you want to discuss. It's a smooth, natural transition phrase that makes your English sound more sophisticated.
Perfect summary. And remember, these aren't separate, isolated phrases. They often work together in natural conversation, just like how we use them in our shopping story. You might say something like, when it comes to budgeting, my partner and I see eye to eye. When we discuss our financial goals, I usually say something like, we need to be more careful with our spending. And my partner always responds, you can say that again. See how all 3 expressions flow together naturally? That's the kind of fluency we want you to develop.
And that fluency comes from practice, exposure, and repetition. Listen to this episode multiple times. Take notes on the expressions and examples. Try creating your own sentences using these phrases. Practice them out loud when you're alone. Use them in actual conversations when opportunities arise. The more you engage with this material actively rather than passively, the faster you'll improve and the more confident you'll become.
Absolutely. And hey, we want to hear from you. If you use any of these expressions in real conversations, tell us about it. Share your experiences with us. We love hearing from our listeners, and we love knowing that we're helping you on your English learning journey. You can reach out to us through our social media channels or leave us comments. We read everything, and your feedback helps us create even better content for you.
Yes, please do stay connected with us. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends who are also learning English. Learning languages can sometimes feel isolating, but it doesn't have to be. When you share resources and practice together, everyone benefits. You can even practice these expressions with your language learning friends. Have conversations where you deliberately try to use "you can say that again" or talk about things you see eye to eye on. Making it social and interactive makes it so much more fun.
That's such good advice. Language learning should be enjoyable, not stressful. Yes, it takes effort and consistency, but it should also bring you joy and satisfaction. Every time you successfully use a new expression, every time you understand something you couldn't understand before, every time you have a good conversation in English, celebrate those victories. Recognize your progress. Be proud of yourself for putting in the work to improve.
Well, Allie, I think we've covered everything we wanted to talk about today. We've taught our listeners 3 valuable expressions, we've given them plenty of examples and practice ideas, and hopefully we've inspired them to keep working on their English skills. Is there anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Just one thing. Remember, everyone's English learning journey is unique. Don't compare yourself to others. Some people pick up certain things quickly, while others need more time, and that's completely okay. What matters is that you're consistent, that you're engaged with the learning process, and that you're not giving up. Every podcast you listen to, every conversation you have, every new word you learn, all of it adds up over time. Trust the process and trust yourself.
That's beautiful, Allie. And with that, we're going to wrap up today's episode. Thank you so much for spending this time with us, dear listeners. We truly appreciate you choosing to learn with us, and we hope this conversation has been helpful, informative, and enjoyable. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself. You're doing great.
Until next time, this has been Podcast with Ali and Aiza. Keep speaking, keep learning, and remember, when it comes to English fluency, consistency is key. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye for now, and see you in the next episode.